Hello and welcome to the Makers Making Podcast, episode number 11. I am Alex, Projects and Dad's Garage. Um, Next to me, to my right, we have Captain. He is frozen. Sometimes I wish I could freeze my age. I keep getting older and older.
The red light, green light champion of the world.
Practicing for his debut on what's that show on Netflix?
Squid Games.
Squid Games, yes.
He does a really good job.
All right, we'll skip over Captain for a second and we'll go next in line.
I think that's me, isn't it? So, how we do it on Discord, YouTube, Brad in the real world. I am just a hobbyist, a maker. I like to build printers. I like to print things. I like finding a good project and putting it together, and just talking to the community, learning more about everything.
And then joining us for the first time tonight,
It's me.
underneath of Brad.
RJ Repo. Or we need to do the TV show, the Brady Bunch.
The Brady Bunch. Well, you're this way. No, which way are you? Oh, gotta go the other way.
And then,
He's
last
over
but not least,
Me? Oh, I'm Ref.
Yep.
How you guys doing? I am probably someone that's helped you with your input shaper graphs at some point if you've been on the Voron Discord.
so that is going to be our main topic of discussion tonight is input shaper, aka print tuning. Beyond just the thing that I like to do when I'm finally managed to get the printer done and just type shaper, calibrate, and move on with my life. There's a whole lot more in that world, and Reth is probably one of the most qualified, if not the most qualified people on the planet to talk about it. So
I don't know about all that, but thank you. Thank you very much for that.
Are DIY printers ever really done?
None of mine.
None of mine. Hey, you're back,
Alex
Kat.
has already convinced me to start buying stuff for mine. I haven't even had it built yet.
Then it's a great time to start the mods.
Unfortunately,
No.
I also help out in the.
And then
I also help out in the Voron channel, and that's usually the guys that get in trouble are the ones that buy the printer and then instantly buy all the mods.
Yeah.
You really do got to start slow and then add on to it once you understand how the printer works.
Yeah. About the only one I recommend jumping straight into is if you're not planning on using the stock tool head, just throw your new tool head on there right off the rip.
Yeah.
yeah.
Lovely.
So tonight we're joined in chat by Kegel, who was here first, John Doe, Jeff, and Icon. Jeff's currently printing mods for his. He recently built his first Voron. So yeah, kind of the standard back when I first started was, everybody told you build it stock first. And back then stock meant stock. Now most of your kits stock are not a stock Voron.
I think LDO still sells the stock. Like they have some mods in it, but it's
Yeah.
basically still a bomb in a box.
Yeah, no, but like I mean stock as in no clipper screen, no you're using the old Omron inductive probe. Uh uh when I built my first one, it was afterburner tool head, like um now most of them include some sort of alternative probe, be it, tap or clicky. Um
Yeah, I
and
know
most of
the
them include a screen of some sort. And
the Cyborg is coming with a cartographer on them in the kit now.
X Cyborg released an all-wheel drive kit, like an
Yes.
all-wheel drive. You know,
That was actually one of the first systems or all-wheel drives that we were helping on in the residence channels.
yeah,
I hadn't built one yet or an all-wheel drive, and I'm trying to figure this out. What's going on with it, or how to fix it?
Yeah, what does the all-wheel drive do to the input shaping?
You get faster speed,
Yeah.
faster excels, faster excels. So it basically any all-wheel drive you throw on there, from I don't know, you name it, whatever one it is, you're probably going to get at a bare bones minimum 10,000 excel just right off the bat. That's not
In
changed.
addition to what you were already doing, you mean? Like if you're already doing 10,000, now you got another 10,000?
No. So most standard Vorons, you're going to max out on your YXL, and that's with
Yeah.
that EI at 0%. It says it's percentage VIBR.
Uh,
That's residual vibration. That's vibration the shaper can't cancel. So with zero EI at 0% vibration, you're going to get a bare bones minimum of 10,000. You can use MZV, but you'll have some residual vibration on that.
Yeah.
So most stock Vorons you'll get anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000
yeah.
Excel. But once you put all-wheel drive, you're at 10,000 minimum.
Nice.
Yeah.
What'd you say, MZV?
Yeah, so there's multiple shapers, and they're all industry standards except for MZV. So ZV, one you'll see is like usually the highest is ZV, but it also has the most residual vibration left over.
Uh,
So you'll never get really clean graphs, and just the dynamic nature of printing, you'll be in and out of that what that shaper can cancel. So never use ZV.
gotcha.
MZV was actually created by the Clipper guys as a specific 3D printing shaper. So in Clipper, if you go look in the software, it has ZZD, I believe, or yeah, something like that. They don't use that one. Instead, they use MZV. Then one of the more popular ones in industry is EI, and then you have the humps. You have 2 hump and 3 hump. But EI generally, I don't know how much you want to get into it, man.
we're here to get into it. I'm going
All
to
right.
try to pull up some shaper graphs here just to so people can see it.
So there's two ways of, well, while you're pulling it up, I'll explain. There's two ways to measure your two systems you can use to measure your resonance. There's a built-in clipper, and then there's shake tune. And the biggest difference between the two, the built-in shapers in the clipper or calico and shake tune, is that the built-in clippers do not take into account the actual damping ratio of the graph. So Clipper decided that 0.1 on the damping ratio, which is going to be, it's good enough for everybody.
Uh-huh.
Whereas ShakeTune actually calculates the damping ratio from the graph. And what you'll notice in most all-wheel drive or Vorons, it could be any sort of Core XY printer. Your damping ratio is going to go from about 0.4 all the way up to 0.63ish, or 0.0, sorry, 0.04 to 0.063. So it's lower than the standard built-in clipper. And what that does is, if you ever look at any of the Shake Tunes shaper results, like right here in the graph, you'll see the vibration. MZV is returning a vibration there, where standard clipper will not. So standard clipper makes the data table, actually look better than the system actually is, because it's defaulting to a 0.1 damping ratio.
I got you.
So in this sense, ShakeTune is the better one to use, because it's actually giving you, all the numbers are based upon what's actually being measured.
So now, here's my question. I've run Shake and Tune before, but what to do with any of this information is a whole different can of
Yeah.
worms that I didn't get to.
How many
So
hours you got, man?
we've got another hour and 50 minutes.
So I used to work for ASML. They're a Dutch semiconductor manufacturer. They
Okay.
make photolithography tools. So whenever you hear about in the tech industry about printing things smaller and smaller and smaller, they're the company that makes that tool. And I was a field service engineer for them. And one of the things that they did was they basically residents characterized their machine. So that as part of the install process, you would run an input shaper effectively test on this multi-million-dollar machine to make sure that everything was doing what it's supposed to, right? The machine was properly installed and everything. So from that, I knew that you could decipher some of that information from these graphs. And it's just a matter of building a catalog of what the graph is showing you to what the mechanical aspect of the machine is for. So besides just using these graphs to get a number for your Excel, you can actually use them to help troubleshoot mechanical issues in your printer. And that's one of the things on the Voron Discord is that I'm helping people do is figuring out what's wrong with the actual build process of the printer by looking at these graphs.
Yeah. So I'm trying to, let me see if I can maybe come up with an example.
I have a whole bunch. Let me see if I can.
Oh yeah, if you got examples, you
I know things like an unused drop-in nut sitting in a rail will show up in input shaper.
You can't. What the hard part is figuring out what the graph is showing you to the mechanical aspect, right? Mm-hmm. Because we don't have an instruction manual for this. So a lot of this data, I initially compiled it from. I'll just share my screen. We'll go through this. Let's see, entire screen, share. I don't know when if this is actually sharing, or if can you guys all see it? Oh, there we go. So I must have watched 3D printers in a whiteboard like 5 to 10 times. Uh-huh. And then, so what we got, like all these, anytime you see this, where'd it go? This picture, that's from 3D printers in a whiteboard. So I started annotating his stuff. Uh-huh. And then, so like belts, you can tell belt path problems, insufficient belt tension on this. So belts will only tell you belt tension. They won't necessarily tell you mechanical problem, but you can kind of see if you're going to have a mechanical problem from the belts. And so, this is like a pin mod issue that we've found that one correlates to the other. Input shaper, kind of go into that, but these are what, just starting off. This is back early, maybe 2 years ago, finding what the graphs are supposed to look like. And then, when you get a little peak like that, you probably have a loose bolt. And then we used to say that this was like binding and stuff. If it's really low in the frequency, like say 50 hertz and below, probably around 25, 30 hertz, you probably have binding, which means something's not moving freely. But when you get really crazy graphs, but it's just all over the place, your best bet is just loosen the belts and de-rack, start over. like something like this, you get these graphs, just start over. Because usually what's happening is you've got so much binding in your system. And then we took that a step further, and we found out there's two kinds of binding. There's one that's mechanical binding. If you ever watched Nero's video on deracking, he's talking about mechanical deracking. So you want mechanically, you want your x-axis to be perpendicular to your y-axis. Well, as you tighten your belts, you can actually induce racking. So that led to like me saying to people, just don't tighten one belt to like 115 hertz. You have to keep going opposite, or else what's happening is you're going to bring one belt further in. So your gain will start going like this, and you'll get that to 115 hertz to say, and you bring the other one in. Well, it's not going to bring it in all the way, so you'll end up with racking just from doing your belts. So, but it'll look very similar to this. That's the low frequency binding. This is generally like something not moving. Oh, and if I'm talking too much, you guys just interrupt me, man.
No,
I'll just keep going.
I'm fascinated.
Please do.
So this right here, this is very common. So if you separate these two parts of the graph from the low frequency and this right here, what you see here is around 75 to 100 hertz. There's going to be a Z in there. So that would be like this blue one here. 90% of the time, it's your umbilical. It's either your umbilical or it's your, if you're doing cable chains, it's the cable chains. And that's what's causing that. And generally, it's always going to be in Y. This one's X, so just ignore that. But if you see this in Y, it's going to be umbilical and or cable chains.
Do you have a recommendation for that, or just leave it be?
You got to fix it. So the reason you got to fix it is because it throws off all the numbers in your table. So I gave a presentation at Portland Vice this year on how to set a slicer using the input shaper values. And in order to do that, you need to have a good value here to start with. So you can leave it. It may or may not show up, but it doesn't give you a good value to set your acceleration at. Like nobody wants 2200 accel.
Right.
Now, I've gotten two different answers on this, right? So you run your input shaper. It gives you recommended accels. I have heard that you should use those accels as your max accels for you don't print faster than that. And I have also heard that it does not matter. You can print faster than that, and it's going to do its best to fix the vibration in the range that it has an issue with.
Both are correct. So input shaper, I tell people, is just your acceleration for your internal and more specifically your external perimeters. Because the goal of input shaper is to make the part look pretty, to reduce ringing, right? The ringing on your print. It's not necessarily for structural issues or anything like that. Your part's still going to be just as strong. It's just going to look ugly. So you would set that. You can go faster, but if you go faster on your external perimeters than input shaper recommends, just know that it's not going to be able to potentially cancel out all the ringing.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, but you're also like, when I'll run test prints and stuff like that, I might have a little bit of ringing at a certain range, but if I go faster than that, all of a sudden it smooths out again.
You're talking about something else now. You're talking about vibrations profile. Let's pull that up. So there's two things that happen to your printer. One is acceleration, and one is motor speed. So this test is called, I call it vibrations test or vibrations profile. It's Shake Tune specific. Only Shake Tune has this. And what this does is it tries to find the speed ranges that produce the most vibrations in your printer, right? So if you look, most printers, most most motors, and especially LDO motors, do not do well at 100 millimeters per second in speed. And if you look at this chart here, this polar energy profile, this is basically the 360 of a print, right? So wherever the tool head's moving in two-dimensional space and 360 angles, your worst or your best angles to print at are always going to be 45 and 135. So if you move a part so that it prints mainly on the diagonals, where only one motor is moving, you're going to get less speed-related or motor-related vibrations on that print. And you'll see those as VFAs. They're very fine lines that go on the printer.
Yep.
Your worst speeds generally are going to be some multiple of 30 and 60. And you can see that here on the ends of this. Those are your worst speeds because you don't have much room to print that without getting noise. So there's a model VFA test on printables, and it gives you 0, 45, 30, and 90, I believe, something like that. Is the one motor? Down under maker, the 100 millimeters per second is on the system. So if you're asking for it to print at 100 millimeters per second, generally you'll get bad VFA. It'll generally have a VFA on it, and that's almost all motors. You'll have two different sub peaks, if you will. You'll have one for your AB, or one for your AB, and one for your XY, and that's what the angular speed energy profile shows.
Yeah, my print profiles are normally set up for what I've found. I honestly didn't know about this graph in particular, but through my own stuff, I found that if I'm printing at 80 millimeters a second for external walls, that gives me really good results. Or I'm printing at 150.
Yeah.
I try to avoid everything in between 80 and 150.
So you're basically doing what this graph tells you to do. That's exactly what this graph is saying, right? Like 150 over here is good. It's probably closer to what 50, 70, or probably might be, for me at least on my graph, it might be better. But yeah, you're doing exactly what this is saying. Stay away. This is like your no print zone right here. But only for external and potentially internal perimeters. Like infill, first layer, anything that doesn't look pretty, you can print at this speed, right? All this stuff is only for prettiness.
Now, how much? Someone's asking about Nick's asking about different motor types. Have you found much difference between different types of steppers in your research for?
Yes, but I haven't documented it as well. LDOs, most LDO motors are fairly consistent. So what you see here is what you're going to see with basically any LDO motor. These ones are, this motor here is the Kraken, but do I have it over here? Let's see, what do we do? So this is the 2504s. Fairly consistent. It's got a little extra here, and it's got this. But these two pictures, this one and this one, are basically what you're going to see for LDO. They don't really rise much in on the outside here. So this is your basic total vibration for all the angles. And some motors, like some OMCs, some step-around lines, what will happen is the minimum vibration will start going up and up and up. It'll kind of almost explode as the faster you run it. So you end up with a good zone. This is 0 to 200. me see if I got another one. 200. Let me see here. All right, so this is 0 to 300 millimeters. What you'll see on them is around here, around between 150 and 200, they'll start to transition upward, which means that the faster you go, you are likely to get more VFAs. So there's like a sweet spot in most of the moons and step-around line kind of motors.
Yeah. Yeah, I've run a handful of different motors. I've also found ones that so like I was going back and forth for finding motors recently for the Trident, and I was going back and forth between the Krakens and Fabrica's stepper classified steppers.
I haven't used classifieds. I will say for the Krakens, don't use them for all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
They are much better as a two-wheel drive motor than an all-wheel drive.
No.
Um,
I've not done an all-wheel drive setup yet. So but I went with the classifieds because they had lower internal resistance, which in my understanding, Eddie the engineer had posted a bunch of videos a couple years ago, and my understanding was that that feedback current from the steppers, the lower you could get that, the less issues you were going to have with vibration issues or the motor wanting to snap to the next full step and having to sit there and hold that micro stepping and allow you to run higher micro steps and also get better print results.
yeah,
I was really happy with them. I haven't got a chance to check out the Krakens to compare them, but
Hey, Red,
Go
Down
ahead.
Under Maker is asking if there was a noticeable difference between 0.8 and 1.6 degree steppers.
I think it's talking 1.9 degree, right? Because that's the other one.
yeah.
I've only used, I believe, the 1.9. I've only used 1.9. I haven't used 0.8, so I don't know. There's so much stuff to test, and I have not scratched the surface on a lot of these other specific issues.
Do you know, has anybody installed ShakeTune on modded printers like XForge with for the Flash Forge or anything with the Anycubic mods like
I
Zmod or
don't
anything?
I don't know. I don't see it, right? Because those aren't going to be. They're not necessarily going to be in the Voron channel or West 3D's channel or Fabrico's channel, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious on because you can't see that in their obviously the commercial stock firmware, and it's actually these tools are be really helpful to understand some of the print issues that these commercial printers have.
If you can install Clipper, you can install ShakeTune.
I mean, you can obviously install it. It's got a modified version of Clipper, but yeah, it has Clipper on it. So
Yeah, and so you should be able to. If you can install one, you should be able to install the other if they give you that access. I don't know.
yeah, there is SSH access to it, so I'm definitely going to give it a shot.
Yeah, I've only seen 4XY machines from Voron, and what's that one that the Dave from Armor 3D has? What is he?
E3NG.
Yeah. I've seen his. His are about the same, and then Core XY, Core XZ, so which would be a switch wire.
The Down Under Maker says lower coil resistance equals more current can be used if the driver can handle it.
Yeah, and there's always a fine line, right? So what I deal with in helping people is I deal where the rubber meets the road, right? So like sometimes you have motors that everyone says are the greatest in the world, and you actually run it, and performing about the same, right?
Yeah.
So,
If they're
real
selling
world
it, it's always a
applications
great
versus
deal.
theory.
Yeah. I mean, once you get to a certain point, you get to a point of diminishing returns on most of the stuff. And uh, for most quality stepper motors, you're probably reached the point of diminishing returns long ago. But um, I still find it interesting to get into some of the theory behind stuff. Um, Now, the other day when we were talking about TMC auto tuning. Um, how does that play into this kind of?
So you're not going to see TMC auto tune affect your input shaper graphs. What you'll see it affect is this graph here. And you actually, Fricks is the author of Shake and Tune.
Mhm.
Andrew is the author of TMC Auto Tune. And you can see that it's installed here, right? Because it says TMC Auto Tune enabled. And what TMC Auto Tune attempts to do is to optimize your TMC driver, so your 2209, your 5160s, 2240s, right? For the motors that you have. And there's two ways to optimize your TMC drivers that I know of. One is TMC Auto Tune, and the other one is escaping my mind. But it's by the same guy that does motor sync for all-wheel drive. I forget what it's called, but both of them give different results, but end up doing the same thing functionally for your print. And what you're doing is you're trying to basically get away from the default clipper that, once again, clipper just defaults to something that works for everybody. And you're trying to make sure or optimize your steppers just for the motors you have. And what it does is, because of this optimization, it ends up lowering your motor vibrations that's happening. So if you run this test without TMC Auto Tune on and then run it with it on, you'll see a noticeable difference in your potentially or theoretical good speed ranges, because one is optimized and one is not. In a nutshell.
I don't have a link for the all-wheel drive belt thing. Do you happen to have that on hand?
Let's see.
I'll scroll back up here and make you a mod so you can post it in chat.
Let's see. Oh, where's?
He's got every link in the world saved.
I know, and I got too many. There should be a folder if you guys can see it that says all-wheel drive. There we go. Where do I post the link at?
Just in chat.
This chat? How do I do that? Close. So let's go back to here. This guy and chopper res. There we go. Chopper resonance tuning. So this is the other way to do it, to optimize your TMSIM drivers. Let's see. Guide English. And he has you run through basically all of the different driver versions to come to some settings set, some drivers. What has been tested multiple times by different people is that this test will give you different results than TMC AutoTune, but at the end of the day, in the prints and in vibrations profile, the results are the same. This just takes you longer.
Yeah.
So it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen the other. So this is the other way. I will post this if you want. Why not? But for all-wheel drive, this is what you want to do. Oh, where'd that go? This is what you want to install for all-wheel drive, is the motor sync one. I don't know if you guys have played with that at all.
I have not yet.
I have an all-wheel drive kit, but no boron.
If you can put Clipper, you can put this in. So one of the issues with all-wheel drive is that let me stop sharing my screen. Is that the motors, you have X in the back, X and Y in the back, X1 and Y1 in the front, and the pulleys, the two motors, that diagonal motors, aren't aligned with each other. So VZBot has a manual way of doing it, which is basically just loosen the screws in the pulley and then move it really fast. And that will move the pulley or move the motor, keep the pulley stable, move the motor, so that now you can lock it back in your synced. The problem with that is all-wheel drive needs a minimum of 10 pounds of tension on it, up to potentially 16 pounds of tension. And if you got anywhere from 10 to 16 pounds of tension on the pulley, that pulley is not going to let that motor free spin. So what that sync macro does is it intentionally induces an error, a step error, into the front motors, the X1 and Y1 motors, till it measures on the ADXL the lowest potential vibration, and then it knows it's synced. So it's a clever way of syncing your motors, but it forgets it when you're power off or whatever, the motor's disabled, it forgets it and you have to redo it again.
Yeah, that was my issue with the VZ bot method. Was as soon as you disabled your steppers, you're back to square one.
Oh.
And leaving your stepper motors enabled is not good. I accidentally did it on the switch wire the other day, and 2 days later I realized it. And motors are screaming hot, and like the it's making horrible noises over there. Just from trying to hold that thing. That's not a great idea. Anybody running any sort of macro? I changed my idle timeout on my printers, and if you change your idle timeout, because like stock on Clippers like 1800 seconds, which is like 30 minutes. If you change it from that, make sure you put an M84 command at the end of your print end macro to disable your steppers.
I wrote there's in Clipper there's an internal command you can use to disable like XY. I forget what it is, but I've had that in my machines, so especially like V2.4, because you want to raise that. Sometimes you want to raise the Z up, and then you want to play around with the gantry. So I use that command, so it keeps the Z motors energized, but I can go freely move the gantry however I want.
Oh, I'll have to get that from you, because I have that issue quite frequently on my 2.4 as well. Nick, yeah, I just got back from my daughter's dance at school, so I think I look fancy. You should have seen her.
Let me see if I can find it. I'll put it in the Discord if I can find it.
Mm. So now there's obviously a large window of how much you can dive into this. Like some people get really far down the rabbit hole on this, and then other people don't do anything, or some people just do like I do: shape or calibrate, save config, and move on with their life. For the average user, where do you say they should probably go to before they start seeing, diminishing returns, and at that point you're just chasing unicorns?
I say to make it part of your build process, right? Because I'm not I'm using Input Shaper for two purposes, right? Pretty prints and verifying my mechanical build.
Yeah.
And so in the sense that you're using it to verify mechanical build, it should be one of the first things you run after you've got this thing moving. Because you can figure out real quick, oh, are my belts even tension? Right? Maybe I should fix that. Is my umbilical working right? Do I have a screw loose? You can find loose screws. You may not know where it's at, but you have a loose screw somewhere. So I would run it first, but also your things like pressure advance and extrusion multiplier kind of depend on your acceleration and your speed. So if you've done the pressure advance first, and then you do input shaper, and then you realize that your PA is off, well, that's because if you follow Ellis's print guide, you're using actually a really slow speed to do your pressure advance. But if you're pushing, say you're pushing 4,500 Excel on your internal perimeters or external perimeters, but you're only using 1,000 to measure or to determine PA, when you go up in speed, your PA value is going to need to drop. So you're going to be too high. So really, I would say if you're building a printer, it should be the first thing done, and it's like a cycle, right? So you do it, you get your graphs good enough that you're like, okay, I'm not chasing unicorns. It's good enough. I got a single peak, maybe some extra junk. It's fine. And then move on to pressure advance, move on to EM. And for those two, it doesn't really matter which one you do first, because you're going to basically be in a loop till you get them both looking good, because they kind of depend on each other. So you do that, and then you do a test print, see what it looks like, and then come back. What am I seeing on this test print? And that's kind of the process I would say people should go through. And it's very circular, because you can get stuck in the input shaper and just be focusing on good looking graphs.
Yeah.
But one of the problems is that sometimes your printer's perfectly fine, but the ADXL or the LIS2W is mounted wrong. It's just not secure enough, and it's just giving you bad data. But your prints look fine.
Yeah.
Stay with the prints, right? That's the name of the game, is the prints and not the graphs.
Yeah. So I used to hang out in the Boron Discord a lot more when I was at work, working third shift, sitting there waiting for the day to get over in the middle of the night. And there were some guys that had built printers and spent months running shake and tune stuff, chasing it, hadn't so much as printed a benchy. Like their printer's been done for months and they haven't printed a single thing with it because they're more worried about making a graph look absolutely perfect than, and that's fine. I mean, if that's what you enjoy, okay, right? Like I'm not here to tell you what to do with your hobby. But at some point, I was just like, I've said to some people, like, hey, just print something, see what it looks like, right?
That's why we ended up having two channels in the Boron Discord, right? We have the unicorn chasing channel for people that just want to chase that unicorn, chase the perfect graph. And then we have basic, where you just want to get it printing and get it good enough to print. And so we put, like, for all-wheel drive, right? It's can be a monster to diagnose. We just put a hard limit on it. Like, look, if you're getting 10,000, you're good enough, right? If you're 0% VBIR on EI at 10,000, you're good enough. For a standard Voron, if you're between like 3,500 and 5,000, and 0% VIBR on EI, you're good enough. Just start printing. Use for printing. But for those that want to, figure out, yeah, they can do that. But yeah, you can get lost in it.
Yeah. Yeah, there was one guy that kept breaking his printer, and he hadn't even printed anything. He just it's like,
There's a lot of people like that. There's a lot. But I view it as the Brady Bunch, right? In the Brady Bunch, you always see them fixing their bikes.
yeah,
They're never actually riding the bike. Maybe they ride it off set, but every time they have a bike, they're in the driveway fixing it. And some people, that's what they like to do. Just sit there and play with their printer and fix it. And
yeah. And like I said, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do or not to do with their hobby, right? Because God knows there's plenty of people that criticize what I do with mine, but at some point for the average person,
yeah,
you got to know when to stop because you're just a dog chasing your tail.
yeah. And we've had to tell people, look, just print something. Let's just print it. And as part of the troubleshooting for the base residents, we require a print just to see as a baseline, and we will throughout the course like you got to print something again. Just keep printing, just so we can see what it looks like. For that reason, people just get caught up in that loop.
Yeah. Steve Builds can't shake the issues on his VZ bot. Most mortals need to suck it up and go. uh, so the Steve Builds VZ bot is an all-wheel drive system, and when Steve built that VZ bot, it was very early in on the all-wheel drive stuff. I don't think, or it had just come out the motor synchronization. Um, it was very, if it was out, it was very early into that. Um, I have very famously advised people to avoid all wheel drive because I know, I've got machines that are, you know, just standard two-wheel drive, if you will, that I outrun Rapido Ultra High Flows all day long, right? And get amazing print quality. So if you're just the average person that wants your printer to print something, it's not it's not a needed thing. It's probably not worth the money for you. But if you know that that's what you want, you know that that's what you need for a specific reason, then fine. But
I
if you
would
don't
partially
know,
disagree with you. I would partially disagree with you, and the reason I would disagree is once you hit about 10,000 Excel for your perimeters, and you're doing potentially 20,000 infill, the time to print drops. And so if you're just a regular printer person and you get tired, you have one printer and you're tired of waiting for it for, you know, 2 hours to do a print or whatever, if you can get that print down to an hour and a half, hour and 15, just from moving to four motors, that's a benefit. That's what I've seen is print times down like a two-wheel drive. I do a full plate on a 350. It may have taken 15 hours on a two-wheel drive, but as soon as I put those four motors on, getting it down to maybe 12, some cases 9, depending upon what I've got going on. So there's a time savings, I would say, by moving to all-wheel drive.
yeah.
If you only have one printer and you don't want to wait.
Who has one printer?
I don't know. I got 9, so I don't know. But I'm sure someone out there has one.
Uh,
I had one, and then it became 2, then 3, then 4,
Well, when you have one,
then
it gets
9.
so it needs another one.
I have a whole lot of printers, and in the course of like 2 days, I went from a whole lot of printers down to one CR10 that was working. So you never know. Sometimes things just break altogether. Um, but no, say Tube Mini is faster. Yeah, who knows, Nick?
So I actually, to Nick, I got a tube compact. And what I've found with it is that it's consistent to a certain flow rate and then dries out. So it's not, doesn't necessarily have more flow per se, but it can sustain that flow. But it still has a point where it's done, right? Like it's not gonna, it's gonna basically look like every other nozzle out there or at some point. But it can sustain its flow much better than say my Rapidos or my Rapido Ace.
Yeah. Interesting. What kind of flows are you seeing out of that? Like sustained flows out of that for ABS, let's say. Well, you
I
don't
don't
print much ABS.
print ABS.
Yeah.
So
So
go ahead.
so let's just do like black polymaker PLA.
So I run inland because we got I run a nonprofit, and
Yeah.
so our nonprofit got a huge donation from Micro Center of inland
Nice.
PLA. So I print inland and I print ambrosia. So that's really the only two right now that I'm printing. Um, but the flow is probably around, what is it? I want to say 24, but I also run tungsten carbide nozzles, which aren't the best for flow. And I run them because I want to be able to throw whatever in it. Because some of our filament is regular PLA, some of it is glow in the dark, some of it's color changing. So I was running the Bondtech CHTs for a while, but you get one of those, it's got 4 holes in it. You get one of those clogged and it's done.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't run those anymore. I switched to CHTs. I'm sorry, I switched to tungsten carbide. I am testing the LDO nozzle, and that's the one made or designed by the guy that does the orbiter. And that thing is surprisingly good in its flow. I think I'm getting 26 just from going from tungsten carbide to the LDO nozzle. I went from something like 20 to 26.
Interesting. I've not seen this LDO nozzle.
If you go to Orbiter Project's website, you can. It's one of the projects as a nozzle there.
Is that the guy with the crazy geometry inside of it?
Yeah. Right now, I'm testing it for abrasive resistance, so I'm running glow in the dark PLA through it. I'm basically just going to keep running and printing toys for the nonprofit until it breaks.
This looks kind of like the Basel nozzle, kind of.
The Basel has a different internal shape, I believe.
Yeah, but I just mean like it's not like a divided path. It's kind of a increased surface area.
Right. And yeah, so that, I mean, it's working great for me. I was surprised.
I'd like to check that out. Do you know if there's a estimated release date on this?
I do not know.
Or is it just a soon TM?
Yeah, one of those.
Probably before the index.
Probably.
I mean, I'm looking forward to the index. I think it's going to change the. I mean, myself and I talk to a lot of the stealth changer guys. We talk about what's going on in color changing, and the index. Everyone's kind of waiting for it to see how well it can actually perform.
I'm going to guess fairly well if Joseph Prusa signed on for it.
I'm waiting to see something that can stack layers better than most of the sample prints I've seen content creators put out from all these different printers with tool head swappers, nozzle swapping.
The problem is for all these companies is they want to reach a wider audience, right? So they go to content creators. But content creators aren't the people that are necessarily digging deep into this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I was Bondtech, I would reach out to the stealth changer guys, like 100%, because these guys are already basically doing the same thing in a V2, and saying, how can you guys help us? And instead of reaching out to a content creator who may or may not get to it, and may or may not actually understand the full thing behind it.
Yeah. The content
Well,
creators have varying skill levels.
yeah. For me, like I'll see. So most recently, Snapmaker U1, right? Uh, they send out printers to content creators, and they print out these sample prints, and I see, it close up or even on my tiny little phone screen, and I'm like, that looks like dog shit. Those layers aren't stacked anywhere near consistently, right? Now, I don't know if that's the machine can't print it or the guy printing it doesn't know how to tune anything. And a lot of them famously will tell you, oh, I just use whatever their stock profiles is. Bro, I don't care what their stock profiles are. I want to know what the machine's capable of,
So
not what
it's one of those
some
things, though,
idiot
Brad.
behind the desk sent
It's
out a
it's
generic profile.
it's one of those things, though, right? Because most people, um, just want to hit print and go, right? They don't really want to investigate and deal with everything that we deal with, right? Calibrations, figuring things out. They just want their plastic toy or plastic whatever, and that's their audience. Well, a lot of these creators, right? That's their audience. Is just tell me what the thing to buy is. I just want to hit print, and so it's I don't know. You got to wait for somebody who actually dives deep into the specs of the machine and how to tune it. You don't really see
And
too
that's the
much.
problem. They don't send any machines to the guys that'll do that.
No, because you have a
Yeah.
small audience, man. You've only got 1.2 thousand subscribers.
I understand. I'm not talking necessarily saying like
I have
me, but
18,000 subscribers. They didn't send one to me.
It's not enough.
it's it's you know I uh, I know some people that are very good and that have 6-figure subscriber numbers that they could send these things to, and or even and here's the thing, right? If they don't send them to us and all they do is send them to the guys that have these higher subscriber counts that are just going to churn out a video, release 2 videos saying, "Oh, look, here's Bust, here's Helmet, here's Pokemon," and the guys that would actually dive into it and actually put out some content and see what your machine's capable of and sell that to the people that do care, we're never going to buy your machine because the example we saw was crap, right?
It's
It,
one of those things, man. I mean, it's marketing, right? So that's their marketing budget, sending out
no,
free machines.
I
I
mean,
get it. I'm just if it. I'm not saying they have to send it to me. I'm not just maybe do a little bit of research. Maybe you uh, get
Better
we've gotten
profile.
to the
get some
point, and
better people to freaking print something. Tell these guys, hey, look, if you put out a video, this is what we're getting in house, and if your print looks like crap, you don't get next printer.
If they want an
Figure it
idiot
out.
break, they can send it to me. I'll show them every idiotic way to break it there is.
well, I mean, you think about this for a second. Print the way our industry, and our hobby has gotten is the same way the computer industry was 30 years ago. 30 years ago, you had to know how to use BASIC and DOS just to turn the damn thing on. Just like 10 years ago, you had to actually know how to actually use G code to actually print anything. Now, everybody wants instant gratification, and that's what Windows has done. That's what Mac has done, and that's now what they're doing with printing. They're making it, to use a term that is, I guess, the only term I can come up with is idiot proof.
Yeah, but it should be, right? I mean, it is bringing more people to the hobby. I don't have a problem with making a machine easier to use so that you get what you want. My issue is the honesty of the reviews. Like, who was that guy that
That
just
there
the
is that.
Australian guy
There
who
is
just
there is no honesty in advertising.
there's that Australian guy. He just quit. He's going back to teaching or whatever, teaching tech.
Teaching tech.
Teaching
Yeah, like
tech.
that guy was. I liked him. He was honest in his reviews, and he wasn't necessarily trying to shill for a company. He was just giving him his honest reviews, and you knew that guy printed stuff.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that versus some of the other content creators I've seen, where it's just this is a new product, everyone buy it, and then done.
Yeah. So
Maybe that's why I don't get printers, just because I'd be honest as heck. This thing's a piece of crap. Get it out of here.
So Captain's point about like tech YouTubers is a good analogy here, right? So it wasn't too long ago that a lot of your tech YouTubers, the big channels, they were to show off a new product, they would just show a video game running, right? And now the biggest tech YouTubers are the ones like Linus Tech Tips, Gamers Nexus, Jay's 2 Cents. They're actually running tests and putting out real world numbers for what is this thing capable of, right? Not just, oh, here, ooh, pretty, right? And most of the biggest 3D printing YouTubers right now are just here, ooh, look how pretty. But if you support the guys that are, the Linus Tech Tips of the 3D printing world, that's actually going to put out real numbers of what a machine is actually capable of, those channels will grow. They're handicapped because they don't have the money to, I don't have the money to go out and buy a Core 1. I don't have the money to go out and buy, H2C and H2D. I can't go out and get these and test every single one. You're more than capable of testing machines and putting out information on what is this machine capable of. Are you able to go out and buy these machines individually and test them and put out real world information on it? No.
For me, right, I'll take a step back. We've had my nonprofit 3D Printing Elves. We've had a bamboo. We got a bamboo A1 Mini donated to us with the 4 colors, right? It lasted a year, and after that, it was just like problem after problem, and
wore it out.
I wore it out, right? And I didn't like it because everything was screwed into plastic, and you had to basically take apart the whole machine to fix it. And screwing the plastic, at some point, you're gonna strip that thread.
Yeah.
So, but we've how do I say this? We print, and the tools we use are ones that we can fix.
Yep.
So a lot of these printers, like I started off with a Prusa, the Mark III. Loved it. It was my go-to. But if it broke, I could fix it. Voron's same way. But a lot of these other ones are just basically a printer in a box. And so I would rather spend the money to fix my printer, because that's half the hobby for me, than to throw away the printer and get a new one.
Yeah.
So
I think that's part of these companies' fears too, is if we send these printers to people that actually know what the hell they're talking about and actually know how to work on the machines and test them and figure out what they're capable of, it might not turn out so well for us.
like
But the companies that are putting out a quality machine, it might work out real well for them.
Yeah, like I won't say no to a free printer, but I'm not necessarily going to go out and buy something that is not going to be maintenance friendly because all of these need maintenance at some
Yeah.
point. And so am I going to be a throwaway maintenance or am I going to be actually doing maintenance? And
Yeah.
that comes down to the person.
I think that the maintenance part of a printer is a fair part of the review, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
this machine has consumables in it. What
And
does
you'll
it
be
take to fix
surprised.
those? How
I
long do
had
they last?
less than 10
And
hours.
yeah,
Well, that's
but
another
but
thing
people
with a lot
actually
of these.
care about that. And how many people aren't like every day we have people in the community that are like, I'll never buy these because you know I can't fix them, or they think they can't fix them. And companies are putting out quality products that can be fixed and can be worked on, but they're not putting them to people that will put that information out there. They're missing out.
That's one of the things that since I've gotten into the 3D printing hobby is I've wondered why, when you buy a printer, right, a regular laser printer, you can go to HP and you can buy 1,000 hour maintenance pack for that thing. How come 3D printing companies aren't doing that?
It's not designed. They're not designed to be maintained. You look at some of these
Exactly.
commercials; they're not designed for that because, like, Bamboo was famous for this when Bamboo first came out, right? Like, there was no way you could take that thing apart without breaking it.
Yeah, the carbon rods were glued into the
So
XY
what
box.
convinces us as consumers to spend $1,000 plus on a commercial printer instead of building our own and not have the option to maintain it?
Well, not. I mean, we got. Yeah, it's like I could say the same thing about a car. I'm playing devil's advocate here, but same thing as a car, right? I could make that same argument and say, why are you buying that car when this one's easier to maintain? Or why are you taking your car to a mechanic? Why don't you fix it yourself? Not everyone has a skill set to repair a printer. Now, that's not to say that what the companies are doing is inherently the best for the consumer. Like, it should be repairable.
But we
But
don't even get the option to get a maintenance pack, is what I'm saying.
yeah,
Sure, you do. You get you a Stratasys.
That's true. I
Buy it
mean,
at Walmart with the extended warranty.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've always wondered that. It's like I've worked in the IT world my entire adult life, and everything that I've purchased in that world has always been able to get a maintenance pack or a maintenance warranty. You can't get that with any of these devices.
Well,
yeah, but
the
you can't
That's
get
manufacturer
that
only
will
generally.
call you later to sell you an extended warranty, buddy.
I mean, you're not going to get that generally in any consumer product.
Yeah.
Sans the bigger ones like a dishwasher, right, or a washing machine. But your PlayStation doesn't come with an extended warranty.
Well, I'm not talking about warranties. I'm talking about being able to maintain it. I'm a huge supporter of the right to repair.
I don't disagree with that, and I agree. I understand, but we all understand the reason they're doing that is because it's
Planned
beneficial to
obsolescence.
them for you to buy a new one.
Exactly.
But if you want to carry the car scenario out farther, these DIY printers would be more like the hot rod culture of the car community
That's
versus
true.
the bamboo that's the Toyota Corolla part of the car culture, you know?
But the funny part is, you contact these companies, they'll sell you the parts directly, but they won't sell you a maintenance pack.
Yeah, they won't always sell you the parts either. I've ran into issues getting parts on occasion too.
I know Bamboo has
Yeah.
been pretty good about when I had to buy parts for the A1 Mini. They're pretty good about having them in stock after the initial snafu of them realizing that they can't just have people completely chuck the printer.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like any cubic, they'll start sidelining their parts while they're still selling the dang machine.
See, my recent experience, with the extruder, they're sending me all the parts at no cost to me, and I've had that machine since last May.
Yeah,
And they've been
Steven.
really good about it. And I'm
The
like,
Enders
that's
have a maintenance pack. It's called Make It an NG.
yes.
I think Hector from Fabrica will sell you the parts for that.
Yes, yes, he will. He sold me 2 sets of parts for those, and
Yeah,
3 belts and bed carriages.
I don't think it's unreasonable um, to have warranties on consumer stuff, but I don't see uh, any sort of maintenance thing. Like if for industrial machines and stuff like that, a service package or a maintenance package is, you call them, you say, "Hey, this is broken," and they send somebody out to fix it. Right? That's never going to happen
No.
for consumer 3D printers, and
No, I
I
mean you
don't think it's
could.
thousand
Like,
dollar airline ticket for a $500 printer.
I
yeah,
mean, they
exactly.
do it for their cell phones. They do it for their computers. They do it for other electronics. I think Dave from Armor 3D would repair people's printers in around where he lives. So you could do it. Um, I don't know if it's a viable business model, but you could do it.
Yeah,
Not really, because again, one of the more expensive prosumer grade printers comes in around $2,500, and you're trying to make a living off of this, so you're going to have to charge a shop rate of like $50 or $75 an hour. So you get a day wrapped up in one of these things, you're a quarter, halfway to a new printer already.
Hey, maybe that's a business model we all need to think about. Get set up with Fabrica, West 3D, and all these other companies, and just create printer nerd.
Shipping would kill you.
yeah. But for a company like Bamboo, it doesn't make any sense. What are you going to do? Recruit and keep people on payroll in essentially every major city in the country and tell
It's the
No,
people,
next
oh
gig work
per
job.
service call.
yeah,
It's the
like
next gig work job. Let me pick this guy up at the airport, drop him off down at TGI Fridays, and head over there to fix your printer.
yeah,
You know,
I mean, most consumers that I've talked to that aren't really in the 3D printing, the ultra hobbyists like most of us are, um,
See,
they
Brando,
don't
tell
use it
you.
that much,
they
right?
don't.
They're not putting thousands of hours on these printers. So if it works and it'll last for a year and a half, they're fine.
Yeah.
the
Most
worst
people
part
I
is,
know
is
with
the ones that break end up in the landfill. We never see them on Facebook Marketplace.
most people I know that have bought 3D printers in the time that I've been in the hobby probably have. If you took every single one of those people, and some of them are a little bit more enthusiast than others. Like there's a guy who's got like an A net A8 and he's done all sorts of crap to it, But it, even with that guy with all of his machines, and they probably combined have less print hours on all of their machines than I have on my 2.4. Right. So are they wearing out machines? Probably not. Biggest issues they have are, they
You're not
don't know
wrong,
how
Kegel.
to
I mean,
Fair
you
point, Dave.
you look at 3D Musketeers, right? He talks about this fairly frequently about the repairability, right? He's like, look, the machine cost me $1,500. I made whatever I made 10,000 off of it. It made its money back. If it breaks, you can get another one.
yeah,
I mean, that's how a lot of these companies work, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
but that's if you're commercially selling using them.
It's the same with the consumer, right? They buy say they buy a bamboo A1 for whatever that costs. If it lasts them 2 years, they're probably happy with it because they're not printing nonstop.
Yeah,
See, the paper printers got everybody trained to replace their printers every year.
I mean, you know, like I said, the only thing I was looking at is just the feasibility of why these companies haven't produced a basic consumer, maintenance pack. Here's some grease. Here's here's a brush to clean off your lead screw. you know,
Well, Bamboo does give grease in their kit.
they
Yeah.
do.
It's a
People
lot
lose
of
that.
oil,
Yeah, people lose that like 30 seconds after they open the box.
and they don't tell you what kind of oil it is, so you can't go
Nope.
back.
They don't. They'll produce videos, but people never go back up to the internet to go check it until they absolutely have to. And then they forget how many hours you're supposed to be putting into it. It's like an oil change.
That's the one thing Anycubic did right is at the intervals, the hour countdown. It'll tell you
Yep.
it's time for maintenance, and it'll even pop open a little QR that you scan with your phone, and here's the directions on what to do. Here's
Yep.
what you should do and what you need to use to do it.
So I just started on one of my Tridents using oil, like machine oil, instead of grease, and I'm relubricating that thing after every print. For me is a minimum of 8 hours, and I'm relubing it after every single print because I have done the 10,000 hours without relubing, and it's new rails, new everything. Just let's just start over.
Yeah, I just
I read somewhere, was it on, I think it was Reddit the other day, somebody said they were using Marble Mystery Oil on their rails.
It'll work.
I've never heard of that before.
You don't want.
I've heard of the oil, obviously, but I've never heard of them using that.
Yeah, you don't want to do that long term. You really want to clean that out and grease them. And the reason is it's so thin, it doesn't really stay in there. And
that's what I thought.
It's going to collect dust and little plastic bits on it, and
that's kind of what my thought was. I was like, that's odd.
I think it would be good if when a company sold a printer, it came with a consumables package, right? So
there you go.
John says that Bamboo does the maintenance interval alerts also, it looks like.
Yeah, they do a timer for lubing.
Yeah.
I agree. A maintenance package, or at least like a maintenance schedule.
Yeah.
Something that you get on maybe on their website would say, look, at this many hours, these are the things you need to check. At this many hours, this is what needs to be replaced.
A little card stock in the box with it. Like, that's all they have to do.
And believe it or not, the PEI coating on a PEI bedsheet does go bad.
It does, absolutely.
Buy a new one. Why is my print sticking? Because the PEI came off.
I noticed it when I use the Honey Badger black ones. At the bottom of my prints are sometimes black.
Little black bits. Yeah, I had one where I had a large print, and I went to peel that off, and like the PEI was just completely stuck to the bottom. It took off the print size chunk of the PEI out of the middle.
I've got one sheet out in the workshop right now that I printed a pink little My Little Pony horse, and the feet were completely black. It was for my granddaughter.
No,
is that sheet sitting next to your one with the Bensy shaped carving in the middle?
No. I don't even have the other one in here. I have another one that's rainbow colored that I printed for a friend of mine, another YouTuber. With her daughter.
Everybody's got that crappy sheet that's got test prints carved into it.
Oh, I got a couple of those. Thankfully, they're original Ender sheets.
Yeah.
But like Bamboo hot ends are like $25.
Looks just like that.
Right? Yep. So if in the box with your Bamboo printer, if it came with an extra hot end,
you dropped your shot glass, buddy.
Yep.
An extra build plate, or at the bare minimum, like 2-sided build plates, right?
Yeah.
So I've seen machines that come with a single-sided PEI sheet. Like, why?
Yeah.
At least make it 2-sided.
Yeah, I had one from West 3D for my little V0 that the backside of it might have been a smooth PEI, but it was so slippery that like any resistance at all on this thing slid on the magnet. It was like
Okay.
unusual.
Okay.
Look,
Two things. Number one, make sure that so there's a peel on a lot of those. Make sure
Yep.
you take the peel off of the
Peel's
smooth
off.
PEI. Don't take off the smooth PEI, but the peel is on top of it. And then
I took the
uh,
peel.
get yourself a red Scotch Brite pad and just
Rough it
go
up.
over. As soon as I get a new smooth PEI sheet, I go over with a red Scotch Brite pad. What
Yeah.
are these people throwing around in my hallway? I'll be right back.
They're shooting each
That
other
sounds
with
fun.
nerf guns, dude. What do you think?
so you
So
guys got
now
any other questions for about input shaping or any of that stuff?
Well, not specifically about input shaping, but how can people support your nonprofit?
We are 3dprintingelves.org, and they can do a donation. We're very small, so we're in the Central Valley of California, and we generally give our toys away to other nonprofits. So like CASA, which is Court Appointed Special Advocates, foster youth, we give it to them. A lot of schools around here. So like where I live, there's a lot of farmland. So we get those schools that are like an hour away,
Yeah.
surrounded by fields. We'll just go there and give the whole school maybe 400 toys. We do that to a lot of schools around us. And so they can go on our website. They can obviously give a donation. Where they can, we have a sign up for Printing Elf. But what we've learned is that a lot of people, back to this discussion of in the print button, is that they don't understand how to use a slicer and how to print for quality. So I used to do IC3Ds, Toys for Tots. And what I got was I was end up throwing away half the toys we received. One of the themes that I believe was having was that these kids should be happy that they're just getting something.
No, that's not right.
And that's not my philosophy. Like I
They should
throw
be
away
happy they're
toys
getting
'cause they're not
something
good enough.
nice.
Yeah, make the best print that we can possibly print, and so
And take off your supports and your brims and all that.
or don't print with it. Find a model or do something so it doesn't look ugly.
Yeah.
So because of that, we've instituted a kind of a process to print for us.
Yeah.
And it's like checking your prints and picture, sending test prints to us, and then we haven't had anybody successfully go through it all, and mostly because they just stop. Because most people just want to hit print.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get somebody that's got one particular print dialed in, and they can do that over and over and over.
And we only take certain models.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things people print, like, oh, my grandkids like this, or my kids like this, like those crystal dragons, right?
Uh-huh.
We can't give those away. The tails break off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they take too damn long to print anyway.
That could be the case, but even if we get it donated, we can't give it away because at the end of the day, we're responsible. So we're like, it's got to be specific models. There can't be weak links in it,
Yeah.
and a whole bunch of different stuff. So just because it looks cool doesn't mean that we can accept it.
It's got to stand up to a little abuse because they're kids.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that makes you you are to toys as Doc is to boron parts.
Doc and I agree on a lot of things. I mean, I'm not as Piff crazy. I say Piff like.
Yeah.
But like, if I see VFAs on it, if I see ghosting, that's no good, man. I know the printers can do better than that. Now, if your PA is a little off and your top layer is a little off, fine. I'm not. But if I see kind of visual imperfections, it's basically going to go in the bin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm terrible about it. And my kids, so my kids care very little about 3D printing at all, right? But we'll go to show craft shows or fairs and street fair here in town that's every month or whatever, and there's always half a dozen vendors selling 3D printed something, and even my 6-year old at the last one comes up to me with I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was a horse because I had just printed a horse for one of their friends for a birthday present, right? And she goes, "This horse doesn't look right." I go, "What do you mean?" And I had printed her one. I had set a second model and just told it to purge into that model, right? So the one that I gave my daughter was just purge, right? But even that, she's like, "The one you made me looks way nicer than this," right? Like just the print quality. A 6-year old can tell that this print quality is absolutely terrible, right?
Yeah, I get
And
that on kids too when we're out and about.
so, and like I said, granted, my kids are around it, right? But it, you giving toys to kids that they do see these models at craft shows and fairs and stuff, so they have some sort of baseline for what a 3D printed thing looks like, and they know what a 3D printed thing is.
So the
Uh,
kids that in my area, um, they have never seen it. Some of them never seen a 3D printed toy.
Yeah.
Like the kids we generally target to give our toys to, may not have a bed. Like we were talking to one school out here, and we ran into one of the teachers at some other event, and they were talking about how every year they make blankets for their students because their students have no blankets, no beds. Like
it's
we're talking like
heartbreaking.
poverty,
That's heartbreaking.
So like in that sense, I don't feel good about giving them a toy that's not the best possible that I could make. So if I
Yeah.
have like 10 bad ones and one good one, I'm giving the good one away. Because these kids already don't have, most of the kids we give to don't have anything else. So I take it from a different point of view on,
Yeah.
on how
So
we print.
what you're saying is this is not a good toy.
Oh, no.
Is that the old classic Claymore trailer hitch cover?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, quality
I
is.
think we have all printed one at one time or another. That thing's
One of
probably
the first
really
ABS prints I did.
It's solid though. It doesn't break.
yeah. Yeah, it'll leave a stamp at little Tommy's forehead.
Well, they will do that.
Have you guys seen that
You gotta
episode
print the
of?
writing backwards so everybody can read his forehead later.
Did you guys see that episode of Parks and Rec where he gave the Claymore to that girl?
No, I didn't.
He had like a toy that blew up and like threw confetti and stuff in the air.
I actually want to redo this model because I saw somebody else that did it, and I want to cut the trailer hitch off and put LEDs on it and put it next to my doorbell camera,
There you go.
and then put a sign underneath that says no soliciting. I think that'll be excellent.
Solicitors. I like getting the solicitor, not the solicitors per se, but I like having the God, what are those the religious people that come to your door?
The Jehovah's Witness.
Jehovah's Witnesses. I like talking to them. I work from home. I don't get a lot of human interaction. So like whenever they show up, I'm like, hey, how you guys doing?
I never leave my house, so yeah.
If I do answer the door to him, I'm more of the guy that's like, "Oh, thank God you're here! Quick, help me move this body."
Guys,
They don't.
this
they
is
don't come
outside.
around.
I got to go see if like the gutters ripped off my house or whatnot. I'll be right back.
Okay.
We'll hold the fort down, sir.
So, Reth, to get ShakeTune installed on your machine, I'm assuming there's probably like a GitHub repository that you click into so you can put it into your Pi and add some macros.
Just Google shake tune.
Just Google shake tune.
Shake
I
tune
know at
clipper.
one point in history there was like, I don't know, a clone or a bad version of it or something that was causing trouble.
There, there's. Are you talking of shake tune or of a different thing?
It might have been a different version, but like if you loaded it in, you start getting errors all over the place and so on. And
So you can get
so
errors in it depending upon. For a while, it wasn't working with Trixie. It
yeah,
was getting memory errors, especially on lower on CB1s.
well, I know David over at Armored, he had come out and he said, "Hey, if you're going to put it on your machine, get it from here because this one over here is not the real one and it screws your stuff up."
Oh, I don't know about. I
So
haven't heard about that. I I do know that there was another one that did damping ratio. It basically would calculate, do the shaper, but then actually give you the damping ratio. But
Hmm.
it didn't use the damping ratio in its calculations. It just got it from the graphs. I knew of
gotcha.
that one. I didn't know that there was something else. I think it was called Res Shaper or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember the details of it other than he posted the link that basically saying if you're going to do it from here. But I don't remember all the details around. It was probably 9 months ago.
Yeah, it's been updated. It's on 6.0 right now.
Yeah,
So he fixed a couple stuff, fixed some memory, makes it compatible with Trixie.
yeah.
So you don't have to downgrade your Clipper version anymore.
Well, I'm definitely interested into installing this on ForgeX and then on wrinkles on the Anycubic
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you get. See
because
how well they actually are.
I would really love to. I mean, because my FlashForge prints beautifully as it is, but I would really like to make it go faster and improve the print quality even further. But more importantly, use it as a diagnostic tool.
I mean, that's mainly what I use it as. You can do prints to figure it out, right? There's the ringing tower
Yeah.
on Clipper, built into Clipper is a ringing tower. Yeah, there you go. You can do the VFA tests that you can find on printables.
Rico's
Yeah.
putting up pictures from
I've
his
got the
last trip to
VFA
Puerto
test. But I'm
There
a
you go,
statistics
Mad Dog.
guy,
That's
so
for you.
I like actually seeing graphs.
Yeah. It's as long as you don't get sucked in by them. The one thing I
No.
will say is if you're printing, if you're using an all-wheel drive, just make sure you run the vibrations profile from 0 to 400.
Well, see, it's I don't know if you heard earlier. I am the only person I think anywhere on the planet that has an all-wheel drive kit, but no boron.
What do you have, an
John
Ender
Moore
NG?
commented saying
No,
that Z.
I won an all-wheel drive kit on a stream,
Oh,
and I have
Alex
no
is doing
boron.
it.
time to build one.
Just as soon as I have that dollar bill.
I mean, you could get what's a cheap one out there?
Magic Phoenix.
Magic Phoenix. Throw it on that.
They're even cheaper than Formbot, but they look like they're decent enough.
You're
I
muted,
mean,
Alex.
most of these printers, these bomb in a box printers have kind of come up, right? You're not necessarily seeing all the cheap parts that they used to put in.
Yeah.
They've started to put better parts in.
Yep.
Zmod has shake tune on it. I didn't know that.
Yep. That's what John Doe said. Zmod has shake tune.
What
Well, I
is
don't have
Z?
Zmod. I have ForgeX.
Captain, you're just going to have to accept the fact that you might not have stuff for other projects for a couple months and just throw everything
I know.
at a
It is
Voron.
tax season, so yeah, I'm just gonna have to
Preach yourself.
Yeah, I was supposed to do
take
my
the
tech.
refund, and I'm
Instead
just
of
gonna have to
doing
take the refund and buy a Venture XL. That's what I'll do.
Don't do that.
Go whole hog.
Well, Stephen Machado would tell you to put you in the hospital.
I would like to build a Venture XL. I will not pay for a Venture XL. I would like to build one.
Yep.
I won't buy, from what I understand now of the Venture XL, I will not buy one or even build one until they change the electronics in it.
Oh,
Because I don't want to buy it twice.
Or
I've
it'd be
got the
nice
electronics
to
to
offer it
switch
with
out.
no electronics and let you do your own.
I
mean,
think it's
you can
absolutely
build it.
ridiculous that you have to buy the electronics twice.
I mean, why can't you just buy extrusions of the same size and basically use a standard boron kit?
You absolutely could.
Yeah, you could.
Or
You
just
have to buy a
build
bunch
it
of
yourself.
beds, but
If you were to buy all the parts for this, I bet you're going to be around $2,500, maybe a little more because the extrusions are longer.
No, I just want to. I want a 350. That's all. I have 300s that I'm still building. They're not borons, but I have 300s.
Steven says, "Don't make me come in there."
Dare you, Steven. I dare you.
Steven needs to rest.
He does. I dare you to go back to bed, Steven.
Um, yeah, everybody always says, like you replace something, you've got the first part for your next build. You've got your first part for your Voron build.
I mean, you
unless
should have like 20 power supplies by now, man.
you buy a self-destructive
Ironically,
build.
the building the frame is the cheapest part of any build. You
I
can
don't
get
know.
you can get the extrusion for a full Voron frame for a 350 for less than $200.
It's like $100 right now. There's a couple of them that have them on sale right now.
Well, like I said, less than $200.
I want a full 4040, like full Doom cube frame. With 4040 is what I'm
Oh,
trying
well,
to.
you're talking Doom Cube frame. That's a whole different
Yeah,
ballgame.
I
That's
really want that
350, $400. But that's still cheaper than all the electronics.
It depends on what you get. You know what I mean? Like you can get what's a Octopus Pro cost these days? $40?
Uh,
By the time you
60,
buy the
I think.
drivers, you're about 70, 80.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get something like a Kraken's 100 and something. What's the
Add
other
on some
level?
good moon motors or some LDO speedies, and you're not talking another 100, 120.
Yeah, so I mean every part, every subsystem seems to be, except for the extrusion, seems to be around $150.
Yeah. LDO Trident frame from West 3D is 129. 2.4 frame is 124.
I'll be right back.
For a
Alrighty.
350, it's 150.
If you don't mind drilling the holes, you can probably find it on Amazon. The different lengths, cheaper.
I
They're
mean,
not that hard to cut and drill.
I could start that way, just buy the frame and just go from there. But self-sourcing is a pain in the ass. So
All
You
of
can
the
almost
fastener.
source from
But
one store alone.
you can buy a fastener kit. So
I told you to go lay down. Shit.
So
Howdy, Steven.
so here. Okay, now I've been listening to this for a minute. First of all, it was a short trip to the hospital, little stroke. Take some ibuprofen and get over it. Second, I'm listening to everybody talk about these maintenance part kits. Why? Because everybody, the other side, everybody builds their printer and then takes it apart after it works. So a maintenance kit, that's your new set of motors. That's your new board. The Venture XL, you wouldn't buy it twice? He would. Because he'd put it together and it'd work, but he's got to make it go faster.
Oh no.
You're pointing the wrong direction, but yeah.
Yeah.
He'd put it
Okay,
together 4 or
well,
5 times.
believe it or not, I was up here and I'm like, I'm going to load this on the damn iPad and I'm coming after you. And my cell phone loaded it faster than the iPad.
I can just see Alex with a Venture XL. He's going to have CNC motors that are this big around on it, and
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I've already got NEMA
16
23s
horsepower.
bookmarked, okay?
Why do your stepper motors say steel on them?
But you guys talking about, and this is just my thing. You guys were talking about content creators and sending them printers and everything. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. They could their sales models, if they really wanted to appeal to somebody. Hey, look at my great print. Show them how many failures they had before they got that dialed in.
Right.
You want a total honesty? Okay. Hey, you know what? I got this 8-hour print that took 1 kilogram of filament. But before I got it dialed in to look this good, I burned up 5 kilograms worth of filament.
Rest got you covered.
Yep, there you go.
Lots of dollars.
All of these are failed prints.
Yes. I remember when Bamboo came out and they were talking about the poop shoot, everybody was looking at him and going, oh my God, the waste. But nobody bothered to go, oh, here's my Voron. And before I got it dialed in, I've got a 55-gallon drum over here full of bad plastic.
I don't have an issue with the purge waste. If I'm very selective of what I print in multicolor, and when I do, I'm printing it because I want it to look a certain way. I don't care how much waste it's making in purge to do it. Right? Like I've thrown away more plastic in that and taking off something I upgraded on a printer and threw away the old part than I will ever waste in purge material. Like, but that's me. I
mean, how many times did I redo the do-ender parts? I think 4 times.
Something like that.
That's the Ender maintenance package. Remove frame, install new hardware.
I think most of us here and on stream and in chat have done their fair bit of modding and wasted, be it hardware or plastic or whatever, over the course of time. Like, there's waste in this hobby. There's waste in any hobby. That's shit. It comes with the territory, right? When I did RC cars, I had boxes of spare parts. I had enough spare parts to build 2 or 3 of any car that I was running. And on any given weekend, I was throwing away, 3 or 4 dozen sets of arms or, diff gears or whatever it was. Trash a brand new motor after 10 minutes on the track. Like, it's part of the hobby.
Yep.
The other part of the hobby that nobody ever really talks about is I don't care how dialed in your printer is. Once you've got it out of the box and you're sitting there looking at it, people are talking, oh, $1,000 printer, oh, a $300 printer, oh, a $500 printer. Nobody ever really tells you that your biggest concern after you have that printer, no matter how well it works, no matter how much effort that you put into it, you will sit there and want to print something and you will look at it and go, oh, this would look great in red. And then you look over to the left or to the right of you and all you have is a rack of the wrong color filament.
Yeah.
Never had that issue.
My kids right now want these Cappy Burger models. Thank you, Brad. And I don't have green PLA to print it. I have every other color except for green PLA.
I've got
I
fluorescent.
had green PLA and I used it. I was like, okay, this is a color I don't care about. I'm just going to burn it up to print these pieces of like just random stuff that I needed. You know, that it didn't matter what color it was. That was the color I just was like, I'm going to burn through this roll for these random things. And then I need that color 2 weeks later.
Oh yeah. Or like me when I was working on that 53-1, I'm like, this would look good in Cardivan, and I'm like, burnt, burnt, and I look, and the one plate that I'm using this Cardivan is 1.0 or 1.043 kilograms, and I'm like, man, I'm hoping whoever rolled this didn't count right, and I ended up with like this much of it that was just black.
You
And
know,
I was
I,
like,
I like the guys like Killer Prince and Steve Builds who really color coordinate their printers. I could never do that. I'm the guy that's like, I got yellow already set up. It's going to be yellow.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I print whatever's there, and I try to do a color, combination for my printers. But the first time it needs a spare part, I just like whatever's on it. That's what I'm printing.
Yeah, I can't do that. My
Yeah,
my mind won't.
yeah, RJ.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
did
I,
my fundamentalists in
I
like a
whatever.
didn't have
Lego
enough,
extruder.
so I
Most
switched
of
to
my printers are
purple, and
Polymaker
then I hit
luminescent
these used to be
orange.
red.
I would argue that I'm more OCD about my color combinations for anything I print than
Verified.
anyone else on the internet. And
Probably.
I spent uh, my favorite part of art was color theory, and like even at work, like I gave them hell because they made signs, and I'm like, these colors aren't right. Like you couldn't use at least complementary colors on this, and like just so.
Yeah, but
I
my
would
issue.
argue I'm worse than anybody else on the internet for colors.
Yeah, when I built my filamentalists, I fired up 4 machines with whatever the hell color was in them at the time, and just printed everything off and assembled them. And then I showed Alex a picture of it. He's like, "That's killing me."
Now that I'm building the Alan Mendick PC, the Voron PC case, I'm actually being picky about colors, and I'm like, this sucks.
Just on the
Yeah,
front of that fundamentalist, I've got red, blue, and gray. Just on the bar, and then and he's like, "You couldn't even make them the same part, red, blue, and gray on all of them."
I mean,
Nope.
I like it when you guys get all OCD and make the parts look nice. I just can't do it. I
yeah,
wish I could, but I have the reverse problem.
yeah.
Me too.
I'm bad with like print quality and stuff. Right, most of my stuff I print on a smooth PEI sheet, and I would challenge people to tell me the difference between my top and bottom layers,
Oh
top and
wait,
bottom surfaces of my prints. Sometimes, like just
wait, wait. I'll come back out there. I'm bringing the magnifying glass, buddy.
you know where I'm at.
I,
But
I do nice print quality, and on my Nerf blasters, everything is all nice and color coordinated. But if it's something for me, it's whatever's in the machine.
I,
It's
I'm,
the
I'm
right
getting now. I'm getting now with my Nerf blasters to the point where I want a light color and a dark color, and if I have half of one light color and half of one dark color, and mix and match it, because when you're on the other end of that Nerf blaster, you're not going to care what color it is.
I still think y'all just need to just print them all in white and then hydro dip the darn things.
I've been making them in pairs because one for me, one for the kid. So
Need
instead
one for
of
the kids and a backup for when they break it.
well, that's true too. So you've got two different colors that go on it. I just print all the files in one color, and then all the files again in another color, and then I just mix match them when I put them together. Oh, okay, I need this color for the lower. This, yeah. So they're opposite of each other when they're done.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've my daughter got a hold of me after I told her about this event of mine, and she's getting a house, and she said my grandson, who's autistic, is getting his own bedroom, and she said he is so stoked about it. She said, "Well, how do you want to decorate it?" And she goes, "I want Papa to make blasters, and he wants to hang
Nice.
blasters all over the wall." And I told her, I was like, he hasn't figured out that he's now responsible for cleaning his own space, and he can't blame the other kids for messing up his room.
Fair point.
But I think I've got the I've got to do the vulture. I got to finish the venture. I've got to finish the 53-1. I'm gonna have to do some tuning to get that to go, and then I'm gonna do the uh, the Lidl lever action
Pike.
model, the Pike. And I think that Pike, I'm just going to do all of that in fluorescent green, just to be weird.
I mean, it was
Yeah.
designed by a guy named Bruce Lee. So being weird probably is called for.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt.
So, what about the rest of you guys? So, me and Steven clearly are things we print that aren't printer stuff has been blasters for the last few months. What do the rest of you guys print? Captain prints pink unicorns or
Oh,
pennies.
shut up.
Now, in the captain's
And
defense,
Claymore.
he also
I'm
prints Star Trek stuff.
I do print my Star Trek stuff and and all the starships. I'm actually getting ready to print another a big Star Wars ship, and I'm not telling anybody which one it is.
And
Was
Millennium
it you
Falcon.
kid that did the real cool Ghostbuster stuff not too long ago?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna be printing some more Ghostbuster stuff, uh, but I'm gonna be starting another project. We're gonna be rebuilding my aquaponics greenhouse out back. That's right next to the workshop, using all 3D printed parts.
Yeah, down under market, down under maker. Out of darts is the big one that we go to.
So that's going to be fun. Other than the PVC piping, obviously, but all uh, the tees and everything, that's all going to be 3D printed.
That would be pretty cool. That
As you,
hydroponics greenhouse thing,
You're not in
growing
California.
up doing farming and gardening and stuff like that is extremely interesting to me. So I want to see how that goes.
now, I did do some serious color matching. I did our company logo for the company I work for, and it's a very specific blue. And I have my neighbor, he's got one of these things that'll you can look at the color of the object you're going to print, and it'll match it up to a brand and color of filament to match the color. And I had him check it out,
Plants.
and he gave me the color, and I nailed it. It's a carrier logo, the carrier blue. Yeah, yep, and it was perfect. I was
Who
putting
does
our
an
logo.
81? What's his name?
Ajax.
Ajax. He integrated that into a box turtle.
Nice.
I know that they were working on it, and they were working on an integration with Spoolman as well, but I don't know
I
where
don't know if
that.
it's going to release. I just know he was able to
Yeah.
integrate it into it.
So was all that integration being worked on before or after the repair of the hub?
Oh, that's all after.
I do not know. You talking about the box turtle hub?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're getting close to the new version of it. If they haven't released it already.
Of
Yeah,
course.
it's available for Patreon subscribers.
Yeah, they're basically everything's been redone. The hub, the spoolers, the extruder,
Yeah.
the
So
back.
just throw your box turtle away and just build a new one.
It's the box turtle, two dot dollar sign dollar sign dollar sign.
I think it's just. I think they're moving to new parts for the spooler. And I'm not sure. It's been a while. I've stopped using mine because I was burning through N20 motors like crazy. So
So
I
the
don't
only
know.
good thing is if you got the gold frame, you can keep the frame.
And if you turn it up on its end, you can make a half width V0.
That's called a Sub Zero.
There you go.
So, what about you, Reth? You got anything that you print for yourself?
Nope. I mean, last year we printed 16,000 toys, and it's just toys, toys, toys. And sometimes in there will be a printer part, but no, it's
It's some little kid is opening up his Flexi Dragon, and all of a sudden he gets a square. What the?
we
Oh,
actually print. Matt
let
Meyer
me.
makes his models are actually really good for the be able to not break them as easily. So they withstand, and they can go to about 100. His minis can go to about 150% without changing anything. So
Nice.
that's what we print nonstop. I'm printing some Cinder Wings tiny Wervins. So they're. Let me grab one. These things here.
Yep,
So just
How
printing
do the
these.
wings on those print?
flat.
They flat. Yeah.
Yeah, don't check the plumbing. It's all flat.
It's all flat. It's printed flat on its face, and you do have to use supports. Because I printed fast, I got to use supports on the bottom right here. But it
That's what
comes
I was
out
kind of
well.
wondering there. Yeah.
But that's all I've been printing.
When you do that many of them back to back, I'm sure you've got everything dialed in pretty solid.
Well, that's why I got that big old box.
Yeah.
I I basically print one and then make changes right. I keep
Yeah.
making changes to one model at one print at a time. And then when I think I have it down, I'll print four and see how because things will change
With
as
the
your
travel.
nozzle as a travel. Right. So
So
then I print four. Go ahead.
you need that inertia that's going to sit there and flip the bed and scrape them off and go on. You just keep going.
Yeah, but then it doesn't take into account you have to. So I use either Frank's Goo, which is kind of like a vision miner, or just glue stick. And after a while, that stuff has to be reapplied. And so, if I did that bed thing where it just tilts in, spins it off, eventually they're not going to stick.
Yeah.
Isn't there a printer where it pushes off the build plate?
Yeah, the entire build plate pops.
New
Yeah,
one
it's
comes
the whole
on?
plate of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
You're doing 16,000 models back to back around the clock, then he'd have about a bajillion dollars wrapped up in build plates.
so
Look
yeah,
like
no, we just back to back to back, and like so, testing a nozzle is not a problem for us
see him
because we just
carrying in armfuls of cleaned build plates like a guy carrying in trays at the buffet.
yeah. That's one thing so that makes you so good at testing stuff for people is the fact that your printers are going around the clock printing stuff anyway. So it's not an issue for you to test something for a given period of time and see how it works, you know?
like I tested Vitali's RMG. I think it's
Yep.
called his new all-wheel drive, and he's like, put 100 hours on it, please. And I'm like, done. We
Yeah.
had that within a couple days. It's 24 hours, so whatever 100 divided by 24 is 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, here's 100 hours. Here's the results.
So
No deals.
you need a subdomain of your elves page. It's like these are the printers that I've owned, and these are the parts that I've replaced on each printer.
Surprisingly for the Vorons, it's really just been the linear rails.
Yeah.
You know, I don't grease them enough, so I had 2 Tridents at 10,000 hours with no maintenance. I throw away the rails.
I bet.
Yeah.
But 10,000 hours, they made their money back, right? Like it's fine. I can spend $150 in 3 new rails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's the biggest thing that the consumables. I have burned up bearings like gates idlers. Well, those get burned up. Um, that's why I like Vitali's.
The
He's got
press
the
fit
press fit.
idlers.
Yeah, the press fit ones. So those work. I have burned up regular bearings though, like the cheaper versions.
Yeah,
Burn
I
some
burn
money.
up flange bearings quite a bit.
Yeah,
Um, and unfortunately, I've not noticed a big difference in how long expensive ones or cheap ones last.
I had some of those West 3D ones, the green ones. No,
Hmm.
The Berserker bearings.
it wasn't the Berserker. It was an orange one, but it was the same material inside for the ball. It wasn't the West 3D. And the grease started coming out of that one.
Yeah. So I used to do RC cars, like I said earlier, and I had a bearing sponsor from Boca Bearings and ceramic bearings. Between every single heat, I would I would take the bearings, throw them away. I would burn up a set of bearings on all the axles, everything in a 10-minute heat. Bearings just burn up.
See, I remember back in the day when people talked about the most important thing going in the landfill were milk cartons. And you're talking about chucking bearings and linear rails.
Yeah, every race I would chuck $150 in ceramic bearings. They but they're consumable.
They are. They are. I just bought the Motion Perfect one from West 3D,
Mhm.
and I'm going to see how long that goes. It says it's got so many kilometers you can put on it back and forth, right? We'll see, but that doesn't have grease in it. That's got machine oil. So we'll see how long that lasts.
Phil says 10,000 hours is more than double what most Voron builders will ever do on a machine.
Before
Which
they change out the motors and the linear
I
rails.
run, I put about 2,500 hours a year um, on my.
I'd say that depends on a lot of different factors. Some of my machines are pretty hard to track because I've had to rebuild clipper
Yeah,
on them and stuff.
reflash them every time you
Um,
hit the update button.
I just replaced the X rail on the 2.4, and that was somewhere between 5 and 6,000 hours on that. Um, the Trident is it needs a new X rail on it, but uh,
That's one thing I haven't. No one's really had. I haven't seen one at least. A good maintenance schedule for the DIY printers. Like I know 10,000 is too many hours. But what's a good number to do maintenance?
yeah,
That's
I've
a
got
hard.
4,000 hours on that FlashForge 85M.
I generally do maintenance when I remember.
or,
About the time
That's
or
my
you're
when
maintenance
something no
schedule.
longer works.
I'm
yeah,
like,
when
I'm
you
out
start
here. I'm
hearing
like, oh my gosh.
goose, it's done.
I wish Mainsail would allow you to put in a maintenance reminder. Like I know in the uh, history, you can set something in there, but I wish there was something in like the config of mainsail that said maintenance reminder, how many hours. And so if you put like 500 hours, and it lets you do a couple different ones. So like maybe 500 hours is check belt tension, 1,000 hours is read lube, and it just kind of pops up in the below your picture of what you're printing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we do in our chillers.
Or just do a pause before the print, and then you have to confirm it before you get started to make sure you've seen it.
That might be a little intrusive.
Well, it definitely get their attention. I started a 14-hour print, and I came downstairs. Why isn't it? Ah, damn! I forgot to tell it I checked the bearings.
Well, guys,
Yes.
we're past our 2 hour mark here. Um, Wrath, thank you for coming on and sharing your knowledge with us. I really appreciate it. Um,
Thank you for having me.
yeah, I look forward to when I get the Trident to the point where I'm ready to start doing some numbers on that, to diving into it. And you said you'd come on and help with that,
Yep.
so that'll be lots of fun. I'll learn a lot more, and doing it makes a big difference. Uh, RJ, thanks for joining us. RJ is going to join us as a semi-regular to regular cast member on here. Um, Outside of that, make sure you check out everybody's channels. Captain Kern, RJ both have channels. Reth has a channel as well. Um, he just put out a video on the new release of Shake and Tune.
If you guys need to go to sleep, go ahead and watch my hour-long videos. You'll get a good night's sleep.
Well, the new release of Shake and Tune video is like 7 minutes or something, if I
Yeah,
remember
I'm sorry.
correctly.
You're gonna get a little nap.
I think I've
Um,
got shaking tune on my Trident.
yeah. Um, I really wish I could pull Eddie the engineer out of retirement and get him on here to talk about some stuff. Putting, but
He'd be a good guy to talk to.
yeah, um, he hasn't put out a video in like 2.5 years or something. I think now, been a while.
Yeah, I think he took time off for family time.
Yeah, and forgot to come back. Happens.
For who?
uh, I want to do I've got a guest in mind that I want to do a show on, like designing mods for printers and stuff. I need to reach out and see if I can get him to come on. But anyway, have a good night, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe out there. And if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to post them up in the Discord, and we'll try to address them on another stream. Uh, two last mentions before we go is Steve Builds has been featured in Make Magazine. If you didn't know what Make Magazine was, you're not alone. I didn't either. Uh, Brad, did you happen to grab that?
I did.
Steve
Yep.
who?
Steve Builds?
Yep.
Never heard of him.
Who's that?
He's right in the beginning, like what was it? About the fourth page, maybe. I got him right in the beginning of it. But yeah, it's this month's Make Magazine. They did a thing. They got a little bit. They did a little bit of Q&A with Max as well, but it was mostly Steve. They were kind of going over the history of Voron, some of the Voron team, and DIY printers, etc. And then I congratulated Steve on that article in his Discord, and he said there's more to come.
I, I need some help with Steve builds. He's kind of gotten used to me now, and he ignores me. If you ever, if you
What
ever see
did
him
somebody say?
start doing a build, if you ever see him start doing a build, just go into his channel and ask him, or just make a statement and say that frame doesn't look square.
If you
And
really want to get him, tell him his
I
belts
don't
are
want him
upside
to
down.
ignore me.
I've had him stop and spend 45 minutes running around a frame with a square
Yeah.
just to prove
Uh,
to
Really
you
want
that
to get him,
just
tell him that his
prove.
belts are upside down.
You're gonna
Yeah.
get banned from Steve's channel now.
and
Yeah.
then the other thing is Steve's been building or rebuilding V2 Serial Zero
Yep.
um, to raffle off for Sanjay Mortimer Foundation.
Yeah. You
Uh,
can go to his Discord or his YouTube and get the link if you want to go buy tickets.
yeah.
Don't go buy tickets. It's mine. I already got my tickets. It's mine. Just leave it alone.
And you don't have to be present to win because they're doing it at what's the show coming up?
Smurf. Sanjay Mortimer
Smurf.
Rip Rap Festival.
Yeah. So
uh,
they
which
just need not be present to win.
which events are you going to this year, Cac?
What?
Which events are you going to this year?
I'm going to Rocky Mountain and probably Smurf, maybe if I can get sponsorship money for it.
So,
And
but you'll definitely be at Rocky Mountain.
Yes.
and
All
don't
right.
forget about Down Under Maker and his channel.
Yeah.
Check
Why? He's
out
not
Uh,
going to be at any events in America.
I don't blame him.
And I see Digital Dragon
If you,
out there.
yeah,
yep.
He's got a new store opening up.
Yep. Um, Down Under Maker streams here on YouTube, and Luke Digital Dragon streams over on Twitch. You can find VODs of his though on YouTube.
His store opens tomorrow, don't it?
I'm not sure because I've been looking at it online. You
I
know,
think
his
it's
website's up.
I if I worked in a storefront, I'd be terrible because I had one fellow here in town. He passed away. He ran a computer store and he had parts in there. And he looked at me one day and said he was going to Indianapolis or something. And when he came back, I had taken all of his loose parts and built computer systems. And I had kids from around the neighborhood in there, and we were playing Quake Deathmatch. I could not work in a store that had parts like that laying around without me wanting to put them together to do something. But
Luke, you definitely should dual stream.
Absolutely.
I brought it to him
But
the other day. Oh
we've
yeah, there he
gone
is.
we've gone well over. Um, so we're gonna call it there. Again, thank you to everybody that was here in chat. We appreciate you guys. Make sure to, if you're interested in any of the kind of stuff we discussed in this, check out our various YouTube pages. You'll find a lot of maker projects, a lot of printer building.
A lot
mayhem,
of nonsense,
Yeah.
mayhem.
chaos.
Or
For a wide range, whether you want to learn how to build a printer or whether you just want to watch some guy talk about crap while he builds a printer, it
Or hear
spans
me
the whole
talk
spectrum.
and
yeah.
Down under maker, I'm not allowed a passport. So
I'm not either.
I've never had a passport, so I don't know if I'm allowed one or not.
I've told my wife we need to take a cruise or something, just like a Mediterranean cruise, but she already knows as soon as I find a nice island, I'm going to shred my passport and I'm just not going to get back on the boat.
yeah.
it's tempting, let me tell you.
Make sure you bring a printer with you.
Oh no, I built one out of bamboo or palm trees.
Coconut. He's got a coconut printer.
I gotta go to bed, y'all.
We all knew Gilligan
Uh,
Flynn.
All
have a good
right.
one. Signing
You
off.
guys take it
Take
easy.
care.
Have a good night.